And joining us now to talk more about this is Dr. Kristin Englund, infectious disease specialist at the Cleveland Clinic. Doctor, thank you so much for being here. So, as Xavier outlined, Alabama banned vaping in a car if kids under 14 are present. What are your thoughts on this regulation based on what we do know about secondhand vaping?
Well, good morning, and thank you for having me. No, I absolutely agree with the choices that are being made. I think e-cigarettes have only been around for, less than a decade at this point. So we're still learning about all of the harm that these can cause. We certainly know that they contain nicotine, and nicotine has well been shown to cause problems in the developing brains of children, causing trouble with attention, learning deficits, mood changes, and impulse control.
So, do you think this policy will effectively ultimately reduce a child's exposure to these toxic chemicals?
I certainly hope that it will make people much more aware that what they're doing themselves is going to impact anyone else in the car, and especially their children. It's something that they should also revisit when they're in their homes as well, and where children are in an enclosed area. Just make people think about what they're doing and the impacts that it may have on their children.
It is good awareness. I agree with you on that. So turning now to the wildfires on Maui, if they weren't devastating enough, experts are now warning people on the island of more potential danger. They say toxic chemicals are likely contaminating the air and water and could pose a serious health risk to people nearby. The Hawaii State Health Department says that ash and dust from some of the burned buildings may have asbestos and lead because they were built before lead and asbestos were phased out in the 1970s. So what happens to the body when it comes in contact with those elements?
Well, certainly when asbestos is inhaled into the lungs, they're very small fiber particles, and those can cause scarring and damage in the lungs. Initially, people may feel the burn and the cough, but certainly with asbestos, we know that that scarring and damage over years can lead to problems with breathing and then also lead to cancer. And we see mesothelioma is a specific type of cancer that asbestos can cause. Lead can certainly cause a lot of different troubles. Initially, people may feel that they're dizzy, they're nauseous, but certainly over time, it can impact a lot of things from the ability to make blood cells, and also it can affect the brain, and it can cause problems with hypertension and kidney disease in adults.
Wow. So is there anything people on the island can do if they are basically stuck there? Any preventative measures they can take to protect themselves?
Well, if they have a home, then they need to try and stay inside as best they can and keep the windows closed. If they have access to a HEPA filter, that would certainly be a benefit. If they are, I know that they're trying to get N95 masks out to the people who are living on Maui to try and help keep them from breathing in these tiny particles. So anything that you can do to try and avoid the smoke, but also if you're going out walking, just be careful that as you kick up the dust and the debris that's on the ground, that's also going to cause these potentially toxic chemicals to be filtered back up into the air.
All right, great advice. We've got about 90 seconds left, but I'd love to get to this last topic. COVID-19 hospitalizations, they continue increasing for the fourth straight week. The CDC says more than 10,000 people were newly hospitalized with the coronavirus for the week ending on August 5th. So this marks a 14.3% increase from the week before. The regions hit hardest are the Southeast, with the highest rate of hospital admissions there. Do you find this concerning, especially before we enter a traditionally challenging season for these types of viruses?
Well, I think it's important to follow the trends, but certainly we need to look at the comparator that this time last year there were about more than 40,000 admissions per week. So we're certainly down from where we were before, but you're absolutely right. Schools are starting up in the next couple of weeks, and we're going to see rises in not only COVID, but we'll see influenza and RSV following short behind that. So it's time for everybody to, get your masks back out and think about what we need to do to protect ourselves and the elderly and the children around us during this respiratory fall season.
Dr. Kristin Englund, thank you so much.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.